what is cold exposure?
Yeah, cold exposure therapy or deliberate cold exposure, cold training. There's a lot of different ways of saying it. Sometimes people say cryotherapy. Ultimately, these are all different ways of describing exposing yourself on purpose to a cold stimulus. And it doesn't have to be a specific temperature to be cold training. It just needs to be colder than what you're comfortable with. This goes in a lot of different directions. You can go incredibly cold. You can go, sort of cold, but ultimately it's the practice of giving yourself a cold stressor and giving yourself the ability to recover. And in doing that over time, we start to see what we call the process of hormesis. And that is this amazing, almost
Mm.
miraculous. We're not really 100% sure why it happens, but it's this ability for the human organism and other living organisms to endure a certain amount of stress and actually come out stronger as a result from recovering from it.
Mm. And is this part of thermal regulation that I know you speak about in the book?
That's right.
Mm,
So when you get into a thermal stressor, so that can be heat, right? So that can be you go to a sauna or a steam room or something like that. Or whenever you
mm,
go into ice bath, a cold shower, or just even a cold day, your hypothalamus, so there's a part of your brain that is in charge of allostasis. So what that means is it's a kind of a fancy word, but it's basically making sure everything is the way it should be. And
mm,
one of those things is we do need to maintain a certain temperature. And in order to do that, the hypothalamus will activate certain elements from our physiology and it will affect your psychology.
mm.
You're going to have the sudden shock, right? I think we're all familiar with, even if even if you weren't doing it on purpose. There's one time you stepped in the shower and the heater wasn't working that day, and it's like, oh wow, that was not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
And what that is, your hypothalamus picks up this temperature on your skin, and it says, okay, this is going to challenge my
Mm,
ability to maintain what we call thermostasis or the proper temperature of our bodies. And so in order to not die, because if you stay in that stressor
right.
long enough, you could have hypothermia, and in some cases there's frostbite. There's all we
Mm,
as a species we understand, like your biology understands the danger of cold. And it says in order for us to be able to maintain life, we've got to make some changes either to our location. So it's going to send you adrenaline and a lot of stress hormones.
mm,
Endorphins is one of them. So that's one of the reasons why we feel so good after a cold shower or an ice bath. But it sends you these stress hormones actually in order to encourage you to get out of it, right? And so we just
mm.
naturally, that's why naturally, I'm just uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I
I
got to
gotta
get out of
change it.
here. Exactly. And I need to go back into the warm temperatures or whatever.
Mm,
But also another thing that it will do is it will make changes to your circulation. It makes changes to the dilation of your skin and your blood vessels. And it does this to protect your core body temperature. And what we're doing when we engage in cold
mm,
temperature training, we are challenging that system. And we're saying,
mm.
okay, all right, we're going to put you into a little bit of a stressor here, and we're going to challenge this system. And the thing is, most of the time, that system does not get challenged in everyday life, right?
Right.
I often say, I wake up in a temperature controlled room,
Yeah,
and most of us take a temperature controlled car to a temperature controlled place of business or work or school. And then
comfortable.
from there, and
Everything
there's
is comfort.
nothing,
Like we love comfort.
it's true. And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that inherently. Because of that, we're not challenging this very natural system
Mm,
of being able to maintain this thermostasis. And so when
mm.
we engage in thermal training, and again, this can be heat training. Maybe that's my next book. I don't know. But
Stay
I've been
tuned,
doing cold
folks.
training. Yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned. But cold training is the one that I've been doing the longest. And when you are engaging in that kind of a stressor, then there's changes that are going to happen. And
Mm.
over time, so there's immediate changes that you'll have happen. So you see, things
Your
like blood pressure change, your heart rate is going to change, you're going to feel differently in the moment. There's a lot of things, and we'll talk about, maybe we'll unpack some of that today.
right.
But then over time, if you are doing it with wisdom, and this is what the book is, you know, we you can know a lot of things about biology. You can, and in the book, I talk about the biological benefits of
Mhm.
regular cold training practice. But if you do this safely, you can come back regularly, and you're giving yourself enough time to recover, and you're
Mm.
not pushing yourself too hard, but you're pushing yourself hard enough. There's a happy medium there. Then in that case, you're going to have the ability to benefit from that.
Hello there, and thank you so much for stopping by this channel. I hope you find this content useful, and if you do, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It will really help me to reach to more people and keep this content going. Here we are journeying together, and let's see where this takes us.